Hi everybody, this is Paul Freimark, and I'd like to introduce you to my presentation for my BioBlitz project and how we talked about different diversity and ecosystems and the biodiversity associated with different species in the area. So we're going to go ahead and start with a little introduction as part of this PowerPoint, and then I'll come back on and talk in just 1 second. So enjoy. Well, I'm back, and I had the great pleasure of being able to get outdoors between rain today and walk around Clackamas Community College. They have an extensive trail network out there, and they walk through different types of ecosystems with ponds and a stream and some forests and some grass areas, and where they do conduct horticulture classes and those types of things. So it was a great opportunity to get out there, see different ecosystems and different species within those ecosystems. And as the weather was warming up, there was a lot more activity going out there. Not as much as I'd like, but nonetheless, there was a lot more activity. So one of the things that I really realized is the variety of different species at this small confined area within a circle of a radius of this general neighborhood. And it was interesting to see how some things thrive, some things were really kind of overtaking their specific ecosystem. But the diversity and the range of species was, I think, really what kind of captivated me now that I'm starting to get into this more. But I mean, you saw stuff like California poppy, which was blooming. Here it's still warm and it's still blooming. That was nice to see as we transition into the different seasons. You're seeing stuff not as blooming as much, but California poppy was still blooming. And then you see all-weather species like kale, ornamental kale, which is used in a lot of landscaping during the wintertime and the fall. But this Brachios, I think it's Brachios Brassica or Orlesia, if I pronounce that correctly, as a species is used quite prevalently here in Western Oregon. So it's pretty hardy. But one of the things that I really discovered as part of this walk is you start to see stuff like the Hydra helix, which is the common ivy. It's a pretty invasive species. It's starting to overtake some areas within this nature area. And in some cases can be pretty detrimental to an ecosystem because it starts to choke out a lot of the nutrients and resources to some of the other plants in the area. And then you saw different introductions of other types of plant species in the area, like the European holly, which is beautiful in the wintertime and looks great, but unchecked, it can pretty much run rampant in the ecosystem and really kind of, again, impact the environment as a whole. What was also interesting is that there was a pond area, and I got to have an opportunity to see the rough horsetail, and it's a variation of cattails, and it very much was extremely running rampant around the pond to the point where it potentially could be a problem, where it would limit the ability of other animals and other plant lives to get near the pond area. And then as I continued to walk, I started to see more and more activity in relation to animals. We saw the northern mockingbird, which is the Mimus polyglottos, which the northern mockingbird is part of a migratory mockingbird and thrasher family. But I thought also what was really exciting is started to see bees come out too. And the western honeybee, which is part of the Mellifera species, was out active, and knowing that there's been so much impact on bee colonies as a whole and how it ultimately impacts our environment as a whole in relation to pollination, and the long-term effects pesticides have on these could be significant. So it was good to see those out. And then we saw, meaning there are a lot of people around. But the northwestern robin, which is a migratory part of a perching bird, is Hesiphor. I can't even pronounce it, but nonetheless, I'll get it right. Those are a lot more active and very prevalent here in Western Oregon. And last, I call them the tree rat, part of the Rodentia family, which is the western gray squirrel. It was interesting, again, to see all of these different species of plants life and different animals living within a small area and thriving. But we also have an obligation to continue to protect and control in very healthy and appropriate ways to allow different species, both plants and animals, to thrive within these ecosystems. I hope I encourage you to continue to look out for those things as well, and where you have an opportunity, and we'll continue to share in this journey together. Thanks again, and have a great day.